The Galactic Union had a massive data library, millions of species, planets, and civilizations stored in perfect order. But when someone searched for Earth, they found only one line: Earth, Class 5, Death World. Restricted, do not engage. No. Photos, no history, no explanation, just a warning. Most ignored it. After all, Earth was quiet, hidden, not a threat, but now. After what happened at Outpost 47X, the Union had questions, and some answers were buried deep. In a secure station above the Union core world, High Researcher Talon gathered a team. Of elite scholars, they were confused. Why are we opening old files about Earth? One asked. Talon turned to them, eyes sharp. Because humans just erased 2 pirate fleets in less than 72 hours, and never asked for help, payment, or permission. The room fell silent. He activated a hidden file marked E-001. It began with Earth's climate records, storms, droughts, volcanoes, ice ages. Earth is unstable, Talon said. Their planet tried to kill them every year. Then came Imagize Real ones. History from ancient Earth. Wars, floods, plagues, fires, civil collapse. One researcher leaned back. This is madness. How did they survive this long? Talon smiled. Sadly, they didn't. Not always. But when they died, they came back stronger. The data showed more Earth had over 2,000 languages, hundreds of countries, and for most of their early history, they were at war with each other, not aliens, not machines themselves. Themselves, for thousands of years, Talon said, humans fought for land, ideas, food, even pride. They nearly destroyed their own world several times. Reach the stars? Someone asked. Talon showed the next file. Photos of rockets, space stations, early colony ships. They didn't escape Earth, he explained. They beat Earth. Another researcher, a thin-boned Vakari, stood. But surely they're civilized now. Talon tapped his screen again. Footage from the recent Outpost for 7X incident played human soldiers in black. Armor cutting through pirate ships like shadows. No mercy. No hesitation. Talon spoke quietly. They are not civilized. They're controlled. He walked to the window, looking at the stars. Earth did not rise because it was peaceful. It rose because it was ruthless. Back at Outpost 47X, Commander, Vala had questions too. He sat across from Sergeant Kane in the mess hall. The human drank something dark, bitter. Vala asked carefully, is it true? Earth was once at war. With itself. Kane nodded. Still is. In some ways, Vala's face twisted in confusion. Why would your kind do that? Kane shrugged. Because we're built that way. He tapped his head. Instinct. Territory. Survival. It's in the blood. He leaned forward. But here's what the galaxy gets wrong. They think Earth made us monsters. That's not true. Vala stared. Kane continued. Earth made us human. The monsters. We made them ourselves. Outside the station, human soldiers were training again, not with lasers, with knives. They fought in silence, fast and brutal. One alien officer watched in fear. Why blades? Why not tech? The reply came from behind. Because tech fails. But hands never do. There was another human Corporal Singh. Younger than Kane, eyes colder. He said nothing more. Just walked away. Later that day, the Galactic Union sent a message to Earth. It was cautious, formal. They asked for a friendly meeting. No reply came. Instead, a file was delivered. No voice, no greeting. Just 3 words burned into the screen. We saw everything. And attached a video of the Union's secret research team discussing Earth. They had been watching. The Union panicked. If they're inside our systems, one senator said, what else do they know? A silent answer floated in the back of every mind. Everything, Commander. Vala stood at the observation deck with Ruthix. Do you think Earth will become part of the Union? The officer asked. Vala shook his head slowly. No, Earth won't join. Us. Then what will they do? Vala's voice was quiet. They'll watch us. Help when it suits them. But not because we're allies. Then why? He turned away from the stars because they want to know which of us are strong enough to survive when the real threats come. The rumors spread faster now, across spaceports, across colonies, across planets not about humans, but about what Earth truly was. A place that burns. A place that fights. A place that builds soldiers not from machines but from fire, pain, and fear. The galaxy had always asked, who will protect us? Now it asked, who will protect us? From them? In the dark corners of the galaxy, where union laws meant nothing? One name echoed through every smuggler den and war camp. Draxion, the Red Pirate King of the Burning Rings. He ruled a fleet of over 100 ships, destroyed 5 Union patrols, took whole planets for ransom. No one crossed Draxion and lived. And now, he was angry. Very angry. His brother had led the first attack on Outpost 47X dead. His cousin brought the second wave. Gone. No messages. No wreckage. Just silence. Draxion watched the final video from the second fleet. A dark hallway. Gunfire. Screaming then. A human face in the shadows. Calm, smiling. And one line of audio before the feed ended. Backups here. Draxion crushed the datapad in his hand. Send everything, he growled. I want the outpost turned to dust. Want to bring me one of these ... humans. Alive. Back at Outpost 47X, humans knew he was coming. Sergeant Mason Kane stood in the war room, staring at a large map of nearby systems. He'll hit hard, Kane said. This won't be like the others. Commander Vala nodded. We'll fight with you. Kane looked at him. No, you'll stay out of the way. Vala stiffened. This is our outpost, Kane interrupted. Not anymore. Not when Draxion is coming. There was no pride in his voice, just fact. Cold and simple. The Pirate King arrived with fire and thunder. Over 30 heavy warships dropped out of warp. Missile carriers, plasma bombers, salt frigates. It was more firepower than the Union had seen in years. Inside his command ship, Draxion laughed as he looked at the outpost. 1 station. 1 Terran ship. This will be over in minutes. 8? Opened a direct channel. The outpost answered. Sergeant Kane appeared on screen. Alone. Quiet. Draxion leaned forward. You're the one killing my fleet? Kane didn't answer. Draxion smiled. You look small. Kane looked directly into the camera. You look slow. The Pirate King roared in anger. Fire everything. Hundreds of plasma bolts shot toward the station, but the outpost didn't respond. No shield burst. No counterattack. No retreat. Until one light on the side of the Terran ship blinked red dot. Then it began. A strange pulse hit the pirate fleet. Not a weapon. Signal. Suddenly, several pirate ships turned and fired on each other. Their own systems betrayed them. Their weapons misfired. Engines shut down mid-flight, Draxion yelled. Who hacked our fleet? No one answered. Inside his ship, the lights flickered, and then they arrived. Not from the Terran ship, but from inside his own. His crew screamed. Boarders on deck 3. They're already inside. But how? You didn't open any. The voice died in static. Draxion ran to the main deck and pulled up the cameras. The footage showed shadows moving through the corridors. Black armor. No noise. Humans. Again. One of them looked directly into the camera. Sergeant. Kane. He raised a small device. Then everything went black. 5 minutes later, Draxion's ship was floating, dead in space. The rest of his fleet was in ruins, some destroyed, others disabled, all of them silent. No escape pods, no distress calls. The Terran ship hovered nearby, untouched. Inside the outpost, Commander Vala stared at the screen. Is it over? Ruthix asked. Kane stepped into the room, holding something in his hand. He dropped it on the table. It was Draxion's command badge. Bloody burned, Kane said one word. Yes. Later Vala asked him, You were outnumbered 10-1.
How did
You win? Kane didn't smile. We didn't fight like soldiers, he said. We fought like predators. The outpost crew celebrated, but the humans didn't join. They were already packing. Kane walked through the docking bay, checking every weapon, every crate. Vala approached. Where will you go now? Wherever the next mistake happens, Kane said. They always do. He turned, but Vala stopped him. Why did you leave that badge? Kane paused. Because someone needed to see it. He pointed at the Union camera. Let them remember what happened when Earth got annoyed. In Union space, a message spread quietly through military channels. No sender, no return code. Just a short video. Draxian's fleet in ruins. Draxian's badge burned. Human voice saying. He laughed. 5 minutes later, he wasn't laughing. File name Earth. Underscore responded underscore 04, and across the stars, everyone asked, what happens when Earth stops responding? ... and starts preparing. The outpost was safe now. No more pirate signals. No threats on the radar. But something felt wrong. The danger outside was gone. But the fear inside had only grown. Outpost for 7X should have been celebrating. The Union was sending medals. News. Channels called it a miracle. Even the Council sent a message of thanks. But the humans didn't respond. They didn't join the celebrations. They didn't even smile. They stayed quiet. They trained. They planned. Commander Volatek watched them from the control room. Feeling uneasy. These men saved us, Ruthik said, standing beside him. But they don't act like heroes. Vala nodded. It's because they aren't. Sergeant Kane stood in the hangar, cleaning his rifle for the 3rd time. Not because it needed cleaning, but because it was part of his routine. His control. Corporal Singh walked in, carrying a crate of ammo. Union sent a message. Singh said Kane didn't look up, and they want to give us medals. Kane laughed once, cold, short. Tell them to mail it. That same night, a young alien technician named Ciro followed 2 humans quietly. They were heading into the old part of the outpost, a section rarely used, abandoned. He was curious. He wanted to understand how these Deathworlders thought. What he found couldn't explain. The room was filled with maps. It's not of this system, but of many systems. Marked routes, weak points, war zones, and in the center, a large table. On it, models of alien fleets, pirate symbols, even Union vessels. And at the Edgeworth's flag, one of the humans noticed him. She didn't shout, didn't get angry. She simply asked, "Why are you?" "Here," Ciro stammered. I wanted to understand. You're not like the others. You don't act like soldiers." The woman looked at him, her face unreadable. "We're not soldiers," she said. "Soldiers follow orders. We follow warnings." Ciro whispered, "You came here to help." "Right?" She turned away. "No, we came here to learn who's ready and who's a liability." Ciro didn't know what that meant, but it scared him. Back in the command center, Vala was reading a secret Union file. It had just arrived. Its subject line, Human Behavior Assessment. Warning level adjusted. He read it carefully. Humans do not behave as peacekeepers. They behave as survivors. When attacked, they erase threats with extreme speed and precision. They do not seek peace. They seek balance in their terms. At the bottom, one line had been redacted. But the last 3 words were still visible. ... contain if possible. Vala closed the file. His hands were cold. Later, found Kane in the mess hall. He sat across from him. "You've done more than we ever could," Vala said. "Yet you walk like men still in battle." Kane didn't respond at first. Then he spoke. "Because it's never over." He looked around the room. At the walls, the lights, the calm faces of aliens who didn't know real war. "Pirates are noise," Kane said, "but the silence that follows, that's where the real threat hides." Vala frowned. "What do you mean?" Kane leaned in. "The galaxy doesn't know how lucky it is that Earth doesn't want to conquer." Vala blinked. "But if Earth ever does?" Kane looked him in the eyes. "Then nothing will stop it." A few hours later, the humans began loading their ship. The Terran vessel looked small, but inside, it held secrets no one had seen yet. As they packed, Corporal Singh placed a black case into the storage bay. Vala asked, "What's in that?" Didn't smile. "Insurance for what?" he replied simply. "For when peace fails." As the ship prepared to leave, Vala stood by the dock. Sergeant Kane approached. "You'll be all right?" Kane said. "I hope so," Vala replied. "But I feel we've seen more than we should have." Kane nodded. "And maybe you'll be ready." "When the galaxy changes?" Vala asked. "Why did you really come?" Kane looked up at the stars. "Because Earth listens for problems before they grow teeth." Paused. "And because somewhere out there, something's watching. Something worse than pirates. And we're not going to wait." The ship's engines powered up. The humans boarded without ceremony. No goodbyes. No speeches. The ramp closed. And just before liftoff, a short message played across the outpost speakers. It was Kane's voice. He called for backup. But Earth sent its problem solvers. Not heroes. Something else. In the silence that followed, the crew of Outpost 47X finally understood. Earth didn't bring peace. Earth brought a warning. And now the galaxy had a new rule. Never underestimate a Death Worlder. Never invite a human unless you're ready for the consequences. The Galactic Council met once every standard month. Their chamber was large, made of silver walls and floating lights. Every major species had a seat. Every seat held power. But today there was no celebration, no debates, only fear. High Counselor Jurin Vel from the Thalnery stood at the center. His voice was usually calm.
Odd.
Today, it shook. Outpost for 7X was attacked by pirate forces. Twice it survived. Not because of us, but because of them. He tapped a control. Screens around the chamber lit up. Footage played.
Still grainy but clear Darren soldiers moving through dark corridors.
No sound. No hesitation. Pirates falling. Doors sealed behind them. One camera captured a human looking directly at the lens. That cold, quiet stare, this Jurin said, is what answered our distress call. Not the Union, not trained fleets, but humans. Murmurs echoed through the chamber. One voice called, "Out! Why should we be afraid of our own allies?" Another shouted, "They saved the outpost." Jurin raised his hand. They didn't just save it, they studied it, controlled it, and then left without asking for anything. It silenced everyone. From the far side, a tall insectoid counselor. Buzzed, then they're peaceful. Jurin nodded. Or they are preparing. We don't know which. Deep beneath the council chamber, Black Room held the Union's most secret tool. A simulation core. It was built to run war predictions. To show what might happen in worst-case scenarios. Today it was given one question. What happens if Earth goes to war with the galaxy? The machine ran quietly. It analyzed tech, numbers, ships, tactics, then it stopped. Result: unknown. Earth response patterns do not follow predictable logic. The system tried again. This time it calculated speed of adaptation. Result: high risk. Earth will learn, change, and respond 7x faster than average species. Final line: victory not guaranteed. Containment advised. Containment advised. The council reviewed the result. One counselor whispered, "They're too dangerous." Another added, "Maybe they should be isolated." Then came the suggestion. That froze the room. Should we preemptively strike Earth? Silence. Then High Counselor Jurin spoke. "Go ahead, try, but just remember they already knew we'd ask that." Across the stars, Earth received a copy of the council discussion. It wasn't sent, it was taken. The humans had hacked the chamber feed, inside a Union office. An AI assistant stuttered as it read the report. Security breach internal, no external. Signal. They were already inside. A new message appeared on the console. No sender, no data trace. Just one sentence. We expected this meeting. Thank you for confirming. At Outpost 47X, Vala received the same message, but his had an extra line. You were watched. You were measured. Survived. He showed the message to Ruthix. Ruthix turned pale. They're judging us. Vala didn't answer, just stared. At the blinking cursor, the council met again. This time, behind locked doors, they activated the panic protocol. That meant preparing silent fleets, launching spy drones toward Earth, building defenses on nearby worlds. But deep down, they all knew. The truth, there was no defense against something that understood fear and didn't care. Meanwhile, Earth was quiet. No new messages, no demands, just silence. The kind of silence that made the galaxy nervous, because silence from humans wasn't peace, it was calculation. In a private meeting, a Union general asked the question out loud: "What do the humans want?" The reply came not from another officer, but from the ship's own AI. It had been listening. It said only, "They want to know how far we'll push them, and how long we'll pretend we're in control." Commander Vela stood again at the edge of the outpost, looking at the stars. He remembered Kane's words, "Earth doesn't ask for control. Earth waits until no one else deserves it." And far above, in deep space, more Terran ships were moving, not toward war, not toward conquest, but toward the next voice that cried for help. Because Earth didn't care who called. They cared why. And when they came, they brought no promises. Just a simple rule: you don't want us here. But if we show up, it's already too late. High above Union Prime, in a cold, dark facility, the most advanced machine in the galaxy came online. It had one job: to simulate war. Every enemy, every weapon, every outcome. Today it was given a single command: simulate total war. Earth versus the Galactic Union. System paused. It scanned thousands of files, star maps, defense logs, and then it began. The first few minutes were as expected. The Union had more ships, more territory, more numbers. They crushed Earth's first wave in the simulation. But then something changed. The Terrans rebuilt faster than before, smarter, different. They used scrap, salvaged tech. They adapted mid-fight. They turned failures into weapons. By week 4 of the simulation, Earth had lost half its population. The average species would have surrendered. Earth did instead. They weaponized every satellite. They turned asteroids into guided bombs. They turned old mining ships into ambush carriers. Every city turned into a fortress. Every defeat taught them something new. At week 7, Union command structure was cracked. Terran agents had infiltrated the Council, planted code in communications, disrupted supply chains. One by one, planets stopped receiving orders. Chaos spread. But Earth didn't celebrate. They kept pushing. By month 3, Earth's losses were massive, but controlled. The simulation watched with confusion. The humans had started using psychological tactics, sending fake retreat signals, broadcasting the names of fallen soldiers into enemy systems, showing images of Terran children. Training for combat. Morale across Union fleets began to fall. Entire colonies began surrendering before they were attacked. At the end of the simulation, Earth stood on the ruins of the Union capital. The numbers were terrifying. Earth's victory chance: 38% Union's victory chance, 31% mutual destruction, 31%. The conclusion read, outcome: Terrans will not stop. Even in defeat, they will drag the enemy into the grave. Peace is not their goal, survival is. Then, something strange happened. The simulation froze. A new file appeared, one that was not uploaded by the Council. It opened automatically. Inside was a single video, a dark room, a human standing with his hands behind his back. It was Sergeant Mason Kane. He looked straight into the camera. To those watching, hey, this was a test. He paused. "We don't need to simulate war with you. We already know how it ends, because we've done it to ourselves. For centuries, you think Earth fears loss? No. Earth learns from it, and then it strikes harder." He stepped forward. "We sent no diplomats, no demands, just a signal. We called for help, and we answered. But now we've seen you, and we've learned how soft you feel. Become. So let this be our message. He leaned in, eyes cold, voice steady. We are not here to take your place. We are here to remind you why we survived our own extinction, and why you won't survive your Ziff. You keep pretending you're in control. The screen cut to black dot, then 3 words appeared. End simulation now. In the council chamber. No one spoke. No one moved. Someone finally whispered, "They planted a message inside our most secure system." Another voice added, "Which means they knew we'd run the simulation." High Counselor Jurin stood slowly. He looked around the room. "We are not the top of the chain anymore. We are being watched by predators. Intelligent, angry predators." Back. At Outpost for 7X, the human ship Revenant 9 was gone. No trace. No signal. But one message remained in the Outpost logs. Earth does not conquer. It waits. It remembers. And far away, on the dark side of a moon, 5 Terran ships floated in. Silence. Inside, soldiers trained. Commanders reviewed battle maps. Satellites monitored every Union system. They weren't at war. They were preparing. Preparing for the moment when someone else pushed too far. Because Earth never starts wars. But it always knows how to finish them. Outpost 47X stood quiet again. No pirate fleets, no battles. Just the gentle hum of life support and blinking lights. But something had changed. Not outside. Inside. The crew no longer saw Earth as a forgotten death world. Now they whispered another name. The Apex. Commander Volatek stood by the docking bay. The Terran ship Revenant 9 was preparing to leave. Its dark metal hull showed no sign of the chaos it had survived. Or caused. Sergeant Mason Kane stepped out for one last walk through the outpost. Helmet under his arm. Calm eyes. Scarred armor. Vala approached. "You saved this station, Sergeant Kane?" Kane looked at him. "No, we delayed its destruction." Ruthix. The 4-eyed communication officer ran up to them. Union Command finally responded. He said, "They've granted Earth Observer status. Temporary." Kane just nodded. He didn't smile, didn't celebrate. Vela asked, "Is that what you wanted?" "No," Kane replied. "It's what they needed to do to feel in control again." Inside the station, some younger crew members gathered at the windows, watching the humans move, recording the moment. Some waved. The humans didn't wave back, not out of rudeness, out of focus. They were already thinking about the next crisis. A young alien scientist named Ciro walked up to Corporal Singh. He handed her a gifta, small metal token marked with the outposts. Symbol. Singh looked at it for a moment and handed it back. "We don't take trophies," she said. "We leave warnings." Ciro looked confused. "Warnings for who?" She paused. "Anyone listening?" The Terran crew boarded one by one. No. Speeches. No goodbye hugs. No long final looks. Only readiness. Only silence. As Revenant 9 powered up. The outpost lights flickered for a moment. A final data packet was sent from the human. Ship to outpost for 7X. Encrypted. Marked. For commander's eyes only. Vala opened it after they left. Inside, a map of pirate bases the humans had. Tracked Union systems with security holes. Council members with secret deals. And one final line. "Fix your house." Before we return, ship vanished into warp space, no fanfare. Just a whisper in the dark. And with it went the scariest kind of power. The kind that doesn't need to stay. Weeks passed, the Union sent diplomats, investigators, propaganda teams. They tried to explain the humans, tried to calm the colonies, but the truth had already spread across the stars. Earth came, fought, warned, and walked away, in the distant reaches of space. Smugglers and pirates began whispering again. Not about the Council, not about the law, about Earth. Stories turned into legends. A single human taking out a cruiser crew. A black ship that moved without engines. Eyes that could see in the dark. Maybe. None were true. or maybe all were. And somewhere in those whispers, fear returned. Back at the Galactic Council, one senator stood in silence, watching old footage from the simulation over and over again. Earth winning, Earth rebuilding, never stopping. He turned to his aide and asked quietly, what if they didn't leave because they were done? What if they left because they saw enough? No one had an answer. In a cold desert on Earth, far from cities, a small group of children, trained in silence, climbing, fighting, reading ancient wars. Their teacher wore black armor, scratched and dented. He didn't smile. He just said, Lesson 1. If you must show up, make sure they never forget who came. The children nodded. Back on outpost for 7X, Commander Vela sat in his office, alone. He stared at the message the humans had left. He whispered to himself, we wanted backup. But Earth sent us a mirror. And across the stars, every power, every empire, every enemy remembered. You don't invite Deathworlders unless you're ready for what follows. Because when humans arrive, they don't come to save you. They come to end the problem. And when they walk away, you pray they don't come. Back. In the far edges of the galaxy, near the border of wild space, floated outposts for 7X. It was quiet, peaceful, the kind of place where nothing important ever happened, until the day the signal came. It wasn't a message, wasn't a distress call. It was just a sound, a frequency, pulse, a warning. Inside the outpost control room, Commander Volatek, a tall, blue-skinned Aranari, stared at the screen. His tendrils twitched nervously. This can't be right, he muttered. Beside him, the communication officer, a four-eyed Kalenian named Ruthix, looked worried. Sir, the pulse matches an ancient Earth signal. It's encrypted. Old Terran military code. Commander Vela blinked. Earth, the Death World. Ruthix nodded. Yes, sir, but Earth hasn't transmitted this code in over 200 cycles. They stared at the screen in silence. The signal repeated. A slow, chilling rhythm, like a heartbeat, like a countdown. Outside space was still, but something felt wrong. 3 hours later, the sky turned red. Pirate ships, dozens of them, dropped out of warp space above the outpost. Their hulls were dark, spiked, and ugly. Weapons charged. Cannons pointed. The alarm screamed. Defense drones scrambled. Shields went up. But Outpost 47X wasn't built for war. It was a science station. The pirate leader appeared on the main screen. His face was covered in bone tattoos. His voice was cruel. This station belongs to us now, he growled. Surrender or die. Commander Vela stood tall. We are part of the Galactic Union. Reinforcements are on the way. The pirate laughed. Good. Let them come. The outpost sent a distress signal. High priority. Red alert, every word screamed emergency. The Union's nearest fleet was 4 hours away. They waited. 1 hour passed. Pirates grew more confident. 2 hours passed. The pirates began testing the shields. 3 hours. The outpost braced for invasion then. Something strange happened. A new ship arrived. Just one. It wasn't Union military. It didn't match any known registry. It was small, old-looking, black metal, scarred from battle. No flags. No colors. Just a name carved deep into its side. Revenant 9 inside the control room. The outpost officers looked at the screen in confusion. What is that? Ruthix asked. Where is it from? Vala checked the ship ID. His eyes widened. It's Terran, he whispered. It's human. The pirate fleet saw the same ship. He laughed. One small human ship against 20 pirate cruisers. A joke, the pirate leader barked. Destroy it. Cannons fired. But before the shots could land, the strange Terran ship vanished, blinked out of existence. Then it reappeared inside the pirate formation. The humans didn't send a message. No greetings. No threats. They just attacked. The first pirate ship exploded without warning. No one saw the weapon. The second ship tried to flee. Its engines were disabled with surgical precision. The third ship launched fighters. The human ship released something to not missiles, not drones. Soldiers, tiny drop pods rained down like shooting stars. They hit the pirate cruiser hulls hard, then the screaming started. The outpost officers watched in shock. Helmet cams from pirate ships started broadcasting. Someone had hacked their feed. The screens showed shadows moving fast through dark corridors. One by one, pirates were dragged into the dark. No energy weapons, no lasers, just blades, hands. In silence, Ruthix turned pale. "Commander, what are we watching?" Commander Vela didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the screen. The human soldiers weren't like any troops they'd seen before. They didn't move like machines. They didn't talk. They didn't ask questions. They hunted. One of them turned to a camera. His face was masked. Blood covered his armor. He raised one finger to his lips. The screen cut to black. Within 17 minutes, the entire pirate fleet was gone. Some ships exploded. Others simply stopped sending signals. No survivors. No escape pods. The human ship floated quietly among the wreckage, not a scratch on its hull. Then it turned toward the outpost. Everyone inside Outpost for 7X held their breath. The human ship docked. Heavy steps echoed down the corridor as they approached. Vala and his officers stood, ready, nervous, weapons lowered. The airlock hissed open. 6 humans walked in, black armor, scarred helmets, eyes hidden. The lead soldier removed his mask. He looked normal. Too normal, like someone you'd see walking in a park. He smiled. "Y'all called for backup?" Commander Vala didn't speak, because deep inside, he knew something terrible. They didn't call the humans. The humans were already coming. Not to help, to see who dared break the silence of the stars. The pirates were gone. The outpost still stood. But no one inside felt safe. Commander Volatek watched the Terran soldiers move through the station. They didn't talk much. They didn't ask questions. They walked with purpose. Like they had done this before many times. The lead human, the one who smiled, gave his name, Sergeant Mason Kane, but he didn't say much else. Just, "We'll stay until things are clean." Clean. Vala didn't know what that meant. Ruthix whispered to the commander, "Shouldn't we inform the Galactic Union?" Vala nodded. "Already done. But the Union never mentioned sending humans." "They didn't," Ruthix said. "These humans weren't sent. They chose to come." That was the terrifying part. Outside the station, a single pirate ship had survived. Its engines were dead. Life support failing. The pirates inside were trying to fix it. Sergeant Kane watched the damaged ship on the outpost's monitor. He didn't blink, didn't smile this time. "They'll try to run," he said, "but they won't get far." The alien officers looked at him. "We can board and arrest them," Vala offered. Kane shook his head. "No need." He tapped a button on his wrist. A single drone flew out from the human ship. It was small, silent, almost invisible. The screen showed the drone slip inside the pirate vessel. No alarms triggered. 30 seconds later, the lights on the pirate ship died. Then the hull cracked. Then silence. "Status?" Vala asked. Voice tight, Kane simply said, "Clean." That night, the outpost crew tried to rest, but sleep didn't come easy, not with humans aboard. Some aliens stayed up, watching the soldiers from security cams. The humans didn't sleep either. They sat in the dark. Some cleaned weapons, others stared at maps, not just star charts, invasion routes. One camera showed to humans arm wrestling, not for fun, for training. One broke the table in half. Another camera caught a human lifting heavy crates alone, what usually took 3 aliens. Ruthix whispered, "They're not just strong, they're holding back." On the second day, something strange happened. A group of young alien scientists approached Sergeant Kane. Curious, nervous, they asked questions. "Why did you come?" Kane answered, "Because this galaxy is dangerous. But we sent the signal to the Union." He smiled. "We heard it first." "How?" "That was a closed channel." Kane just shrugged. "Earth has ears in strange places." Then a young scientist asked the question no one else dared. "Why do you fight like that?" "No shields." "No mercy, no fear." Kane looked at the young alien for a long moment, then said in a soft voice, "Because our world taught us early mercy gets you killed. Fear gets others killed." He stood and walked away, no more questions. On the third day, another signal came. A second pirate group, bigger, angrier, coming to finish what the first group failed to do. 20 ships. Heavy-class war vessels? The outpost panicked. "Should we retreat?" one officer asked. Commander Vala looked at Kane. The human didn't flinch. "Let them come." The pirates arrived within an hour. They didn't hesitate. They opened fire on the outpost, but this time, humans were ready. Sergeant Kane gave the order, "Let's show them how Earth says hello." From the human ship, strange pods launched. Not missiles, pods. They hit the enemy ships, latched onto the hull, and opened. From inside, humans emerged. No air, no gravity, no problem. They crawled across ship surfaces like insects, cutting through metal, entering from all sides. The pirates inside screamed over open coms. "They're in the walls. They're not dying." "Who are these things?" One pirate captain tried to escape. He launched a warp jump, but the human ship followed him through the jump. No one thought that was possible. They caught him in another system. The last thing he heard was a human voice saying, "Backup's here," then nothing. Back at the outpost, silence returned. No wreckage, no survivors, just empty space. Sergeant Kane stood at the control deck. He looked at the stars like he was expecting more. Vala walked up beside him. "We owe you everything." Kane shook his head. "No, you owe us nothing then. Why help?" Kane's face turned serious. "Because one day you won't call for help. One day, the enemy won't be pirates. And Earth needs to know who's ready and who will burn, eh?" He looked down at the blinking signal console. "We didn't answer your call," he said. "We answered theirs." Vala stared. "Theirs." Kane nodded. "The pirates. They made the mistake of touching something Earth was watching." The outpost log ended there. That part of the story never made it to the Union archives. But across the stars, rumors began to spread. Not about Earth, not about humans, but about the word whispered by every survivor: Deathworlders.